The hangings were starting to add up all over the New England states. Historically, people in and around Salem, Massachusetts, were being falsely accused of witchcraft. Not only was fear spreading throughout the countryside, but persecution and trials and hangings soon spread throughout the region. Was it foul play? Were the accused really guilty? Were the accusations false? The church played a prominent role in what people believed. Reverend John Hale was the my pastor of Church Christ in Beverly. He was also a spiritual advisor to the church in and around the small sleepy seaside community tucked in a cove on the north coast of Massachusetts Bay. Reverend John was a young, eccentric, gung-ho man of large stature. By the time I arrived in Salem late that Sunday evening, emotions were already running high. It was a cold February Monday afternoon when Reverend John was set to meet with the local church. The fog had rolled in off the Massachusetts Bay. The foghorns gave an eerie feeling that brought about a sense of despair. Once the meeting started, I sensed there was no hope left in the church. The outspoken Abigail Williams was not ready to listen to any advice. She was ready to accuse. Night was falling when everyone was finally in agreement and made a decision to go to the prosecutor. The accused, Mary Easty, spent her days cleaning, cooking, and taking care of the kids. Her life was about to change. It was Tuesday morning and court was in session. The courtroom was packed with boisterous accusers. I did not know Miss Easty well because I am not from Salem. For the next few days, people were brought to testify. I talked to many of the people of Salem, and I believe that this foolish witchcraft is the work of the devil. Her neighbor testified. The accusations that were brought on Miss Easty are true. Miss Easty had been practicing the works of the devil. When Miss Easty had heard this accusation, she jumped out of her chair. She was furious, made a fist, and cried out and said, "This can't be! I'm innocent! Free me!" At which someone in the courtroom jumped and screamed, "She's a witch!" The judge took control, saying, "Order in the court." In the final closing, the prosecutor said witchcraft is against the laws of Salem County. For such a crime, the church asked her to repent from her sins and pronounced that she had been doing the works of the devil. Her refusal to repent and the testimonies given, she must be found guilty. The judge pronounced the verdict. "The jury of your peers have found you guilty of witchcraft, and as such you will be sentenced to death by hanging 30 days hence. May God have mercy on your soul." When I looked into her eyes, I saw a woman who was scared and uncertain, and it gave me chills. She did not know what was going to happen. I saw the determination in her eyes because she believed that she was wrongly accused. I remember standing beside Reverend John Hale, a tall and striking man wearing a top hat. When I looked into his eyes, well, let's just say that it didn't look good. I could just tell that he is what he was thinking. How did that all get out of hand? He's wishing that all of this would go away, but understanding that the worst was yet to come. The day of the hanging had come. March 10th, 1692 was a sad day for Salem, Mass. I had but a sad and troubled heart because of what I witnessed. I saw the hanging of 4 other accused people. They walked down the path and were humiliated by the people of Salem. They yelled at the accused that the rope was given to the hangman. The eyes of the people of Salem were angry and cold-hearted. When I look into the eyes of the crowd, I can see the color of dark orange and light red. The color of dark orange representing the anger in their eyes, thinking, how could a person practice the works of the devil? Someone who had trusted and yet be so deceitful. The color red representing the joy in their heart that they had caught the person who had practiced this cruel act. I suppose they had the right to be angry. Someone they had trusted was convicted and voted upon and accused of witchcraft, even though the people who were convicted were the nicest people in Salem. I watched as the hangman tied the rope around their necks and put the cloth over their heads so that it would cover their eyes. The hangman then said a prayer for the accused before they were killed. The rope was pulled and the head dropped. It was finished. 30 years have now passed, and since Reverend Hale and I first met the people of Salem, we came back to Salem to relive what happened on that cruel, cruel day. We stopped by the church, and we could almost hear the voices and the outcry of the congregation. The compassion now resides in the congregation was certainly not evident back then. We stood on the steps of the courthouse, and we could feel the anguish, the anger, the emotions erupting in passion of the community. As we walked the path to the gallows, we could vividly remember the religious persecution of that time. Reverend John Hale shared how his heart had changed. He said, "I walked away from this questioning whether or not I could still be a pastor after what had happened on February 10th, 1692. I was one of the persecutors. I was preaching to the sinners. I did for a while go back to the Church of Christ in Beverly. The conviction I had changed my sermons from preaching to the sinners to living a life of redemption and grace." We finished our journey at the tombstones with a quiet reflection. We saw the gravestones of the people who were charged with witchcraft and killed in 1692. When we reached Mary Eastie's grave, we saw a fresh red rose had been placed on the gravestone. It brought everything full circle. Our hearts have been changed forever.